So how do DJs get bookings? Well, my first bit of advice is that bookings will not just come to you at the beginning, so you need to go out there and get them. I know some DJs that just assume that because they're a DJ, they'll magically get bookings. It really doesn't work like that. You need to put the effort in. So what I'm gonna do is go through several scenarios of how I've got some of my bookings, and hopefully you can take this information and try to do the same thing. So before we even start contacting venues or promoters, you need to make sure that you're good enough at DJing. I know that sounds stupid, but some DJs believe that just because they can mix two 98 BPM songs in their bedroom, that they're ready. But do you know about club structure? Do you know how to warm up a crowd? Do you have enough music to last 6 to 7 hours? These are the things you really need to ask yourself before you start contacting venues. Do you know how to play on CDJs? Because you cannot take your controller with you everywhere you go just because you're comfortable with that bit of equipment. These things are so important before you start playing in these big venues. So I'm going to run through some scenarios on how you can approach venues and get the bookings. Scenario 1. This was my first ever booking. When I realized I wanted to become a DJ, I sat down and thought, I have no idea how to play in clubs and I have no experience in playing in front of people, so how can I get a gig that can help me to do these things without too much pressure? I searched on the internet for a while and came across a local gym that had DJ slots every single day from 5 till 7, so I dropped them an email. Here's the email I sent. Are there any DJ slots available for your club nights? Please get in contact. Luckily they replied and said, hi, we do have opening for a DJ. We offer 2-hour DJ slots during the evening times, usually starting between 5 and 7. We pay £10. If this interests you, please reply and we can sort out a day where you can come down and check out the gym. Regards. So there was my first DJ opportunity. It wasn't the best paid one, but it was my first chance to get in front of people and play some music. So as you can see from that example, all I'd done was search for a venue. In this scenario, it was a gym, and sent them an email and they replied. I'd done this booking for about 3 to 4 months until another opportunity came up. But to make the most out of this opportunity, every single time I went to the gym, I made sure that I wore my own merchandise to show people my socials. Also, I gave out free mix CDs to the people that went to the gym. This was a great way to promote myself as a DJ. A lot of DJs when they first start will see the money and turn it down straight away. But you need to remember, a lot of DJs have to do stuff for free. So if you're getting paid £10 an hour, count yourself lucky. But make sure that you take advantage of the opportunity like I did and promote yourself whilst you're there. Scenario 2. Another way DJs can get bookings is via their friends or family starting up an events company. I was lucky enough at the start of my DJ career that my brother started up an events company called Get Social. I don't want to get into this story too much because it was a shambles at the end, but they gave me a paid opportunity to play at their first event, which was a garage event. The event turned out great. So with this scenario, I would just say, if you're a DJ, make yourself known to your peers that you are a DJ, because you never know who could be around you that could be starting up a new business. Scenario 3. So now on to my main residency. I'll give you some backstory on how I even got this opportunity. So a lot of DJs ask me, how do you approach clubs? What do you say to clubs when you're messaging them? And I always say to them, just keep it short and tell them exactly what you want to say. I did exactly that in this scenario. This is the message I sent to my residency, and now I have been there for over 2 years. Hey, I'm just inquiring about a DJ slot in your bar. I'm a multi-genre DJ looking for a new weekly slot, and I was wondering if you have any space available. I have a lot of experience as I've played in several bars and clubs. Here is my mix cloud with a selection of some of my mixes, and here is a link to my Instagram. Thanks, and looking forward to hearing from you. Then they luckily replied and said, hey, I might just have something. I'm looking at rebranding our night on a Saturday on the top bar, but I'm just waiting for the sound system to be fixed before I can launch it, just for sound quality, which should be in the next week or 2. If you send over your number, I'll keep you updated as soon as I get word on my speakers and the artwork in. So I was lucky enough to have a reply back from them. After these messages, I actually got an opportunity to play in the main room as the main room DJ was off, and then the rest is history. But with this scenario, I will say to you, write up a basic template that you want to send to all the clubs and just send it to them. That's all you need to do, and at least one will come back. I went through this in a previous video, but I'll go through it again. When you're planning on messaging clubs, head over to Google Maps, type in bars near, and then enter in your area. This will come up with all the local bars and clubs near you. Take a note of them all, then head over to Facebook or Instagram Messenger and send the basic template that you wrote to them all. If you get no reply, wait a few months, maybe about 3, and then send them again. You need to be persistent with these kind of things. If you really want it, you will not give up. This is exactly how I got my latest residency, so it does work. Before we get on to the next scenario, if you could smash that like button down below, it really would help out my channel. Let's get on to the next scenario. So this is how I got my current university residency. Before I sent the message, I'd done the Google Maps thing again and searched for all the universities around me and messaged them all. Here is what I sent to the uni that I'm now a resident at. Hey, I'm just wondering if you have a DJ opening at your uni. I'm guessing that you have quite a few nights a week, and I was wondering if there's any spaces for a new DJ to come through and play some music for the students. They replied back saying, hi, yes, we're looking for student DJs. Please email us with this inquiry and we'll be able to to get back to you with more details. I then sent them an email saying, hey, I just contacted your Facebook group previously and I was just wondering if you have any DJ openings at your uni. I'm guessing you have quite a few nights and blah blah blah. I pretty much repeated the same thing that I put in the Facebook message. They then replied, can I have your SoundCloud and some info on your experience and branding please? I then replied saying, hi mate, I don't have a SoundCloud, but here is my Mixcloud account. I just finished a 20-week mix series with different variety of music that you can check out. In regards to my experience, I've been DJing for a few years now, recently done a garage rave with 200 plus people that went very well, and I just secured myself a weekly slot in a bar in Maidenhead. I've also played in Liquid Uxbridge, made a guest appearance there alongside MC Sharky P, so yeah, things are starting to pick up quite a bit, so I thought I'd get in contact with you guys to see if I could help out with any of your events. My branding you can check on my Instagram. What sort of events do you hold at the university? We were then back and forth in emails explaining some of my experience, and then they hit me back with, we will start off from September 24th, what's your number? So as you saw in this scenario, they asked me for my SoundCloud and some experience and branding. Obviously I don't have SoundCloud, so I gave my Mixcloud, but I just want to touch on this for a moment. Social media is so important these days, and that email chain, it proves it. If I didn't have my social media on point with my experience and branding, then I may not have got this opportunity. So I will say to every DJ watching this now to do the following things. Get a nice clean logo. When taking pictures on your Instagram, make them look professional. Take photos of you at gigs to prove that you was there. Take videos of you at gigs to show that you can rock a crowd, and also take videos of your DJ skills at home when you're practicing. Social media presence is so important. So if you want to succeed these days in the DJ industry, you're going to have to put some work in. Scenario 5. This is a really interesting one. So I was on Mixcloud one day and I was checking out my analytics, and on Mixcloud you can see what users are listening to your mixes and for how long. I noticed an events company had been listening to one of my brand new mixes all the way through. The events company was called Paradise Event. I recognize this company because DJ Connor G has played at their events many a time. So with this information, I actually sent a message to the events company on the Instagram saying, hey, how you doing? I saw that you listened to my Fredo mix on Mixcloud. I just wanted a little bit of feedback on what you thought. Regardless if it's good or bad, will be good for me to progress. I see that you guys do big events, so it'd be great to get some feedback from someone like you guys. Thanks. They replied back saying, rated the mix highly. Where would you be traveling from? I replied back saying, thanks, that means a lot. I'm going to be traveling from my area. You do events in Oxford, right? They then replied and said, yeah, bro, we're solely based in Oxford right now. You're not too far from us. Throw some numbers our way. After this, we then discussed some numbers and was able to get my first booking with them. Once I got there, I proved my worth and I showed to them that I can DJ and I'm a good DJ. And then from then on, I've been getting some really good bookings with them. So DJs, make sure you're checking your Mixcloud to see who's actually looking at your account. In fact, you should be keeping an eye on all your socials to see who's watching you. If a venue or an events company is checking you out, make sure you hit them up with a message. You need to be forward and upfront with these kind of things. And there you have it. 5 real world scenarios of how DJs get bookings and how I have got my bookings over the years. I really hope you found this video helpful. Sharing my real scenarios with you can help you realize that there's not much to do in regards to messaging, but you need to ensure that your promotional game is on point. Without me presenting myself well on social media, I would not be where I am today.